Are you ready to take your investment game to the next level? Introducing Digital Investor, your ultimate guide to mastering the digital marketplace. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, Digital Investor brings you cutting-edge game theoretical strategies, expert insights, and real-time tips and tactics to analyze, evaluate, invest, and grow your wealth. Don't miss out on the digital revolution. Visit www.nickblacknext.com and start your journey with Digital Investor today.
All right. Let's see. A little bright. I don't know. I don't know if I can cure the brightness. Not at this point. We're past the point where brightness can be cured. Let's see. Hello. 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 Hello, good morning. Buenos dias. Hello, hello. Hello, 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 hello. Nailed it. Just flew back from New Zealand and learned they had a 6.1 earthquake. Well, I don't know. What did you do when you were there? Were you there fracking for oil? All right, and hello. Okay, today we'll talk about all sorts of stuff. Bitcoin is doing details. It's Bitcoin has been floating around 88 ever since kind of, yesterday it started running a little bit. I think part of that may be in anticipation of some data that's going to come out, the PCE, the kind of inflation, whatever, metric, gauge, monitor that the Fed likes to use, because they change anytime they don't get the information they've promised us they would get. They just use a new indicator. But this is the current one that they're using. So, great. And so that, well, that sounded loud, but it didn't sound loud and metally. It sounded loud and woody. Oh, they're just wrestling. And so we're going to talk about Trump's stablecoin, and we're also going to talk about crypto.com. How long? Okay. Let me go in reverse. Many years ago, when we started talking about crypto stuff, I called out Celsius, Alex Mashinsky. I called out Luna and Do Kwon. I mean, well before these things crashed. Years in the case of some of them. I called out, I've called out Real Vision a bunch of times, but no one cares that they're a bunch of scammy scumbags. I've called out Sam Bankman, scam, bank run, fraud chicken over and over for years before that whole thing folded up. I called out FTX. I said their origin story was bullshit. His origin story was bullshit. I called out CZ. Pretty much everybody that's been indicted or gone to jail. And those of you that have been around for a while know that I've called out crypto.com. I've warned everyone, do not have an account there. Their whole platform is bullshit. I've seen them do bullshit stuff before. I've seen them keep people's assets. And then they had a couple of Super Bowl commercials and everybody's like, oh no, crypto.com's cool. No, it's not. It's a fucking scam, and everything they do is a fucking scam. And guess what? They pulled another scam. So, and this is a big one, like a big one. So we'll talk about that. But anyway, first things first, as it may apply to the Bitcoin, Friday's inflation report, I mean, the way this article says it may catalyze a Bitcoin April rally. I think a Bitcoin April rally is likely after tax season on the other side, obviously, of Liberation Day. So yeah, we'll see. But I do think that it's smoother sailing on the other side of, at the very least on the other side of tax season, right? So, but the thinking is, by some analysts, Bitcoin could rally past 110,000 as investors await key PCE inflation data out of the U.S., with analysts saying easing macro risks may trigger a strong April performance. Well, we've been getting kicked in the nuts for 9 weeks straight. So, not that we're due, but we've been getting kicked in the nuts, and the background is good news. Like, everything you see in the background, regulatorily and otherwise, is good news. And we've been getting kicked in the nuts. Like, at some point, good news has to be good news. So traditional and cryptocurrency investors eagerly await. I know you guys all woke up this morning. You're like, oh man, I wish it was Friday. And not just because it would be Friday, but because Friday would mean PCE, personal consumption expenditures. What? That's what I've been waiting for. Anyway, they released those numbers in the U.S., which may provide some relief to inflation-related concerns and increase investor appetite for risk assets, including the Bitcoin. Yes, the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, BEA, which is almost as bad as the BS, the Bureau of Statistics, but not quite. The BLS. U.S. Labor and Economic Analysis, BEA-B, will release on March 28th the next PCE report, which measures the inflation of prices U.S. consumers are paying for goods and services. The PCE inflation print may become the next key catalyst for Bitcoin. Everything's a catalyst. Everything's catalyst for everything. People react on everything a little bit, it seems like. But anyway, it may act against Bitcoin and other risk assets, according to QCP Group, a Singapore-based digital asset firm, which no one's ever heard of. They believe this is how they look at it. We're approaching Friday's quarterly expiration with the highest open interest in topside strikes above 100K. Now they must be looking at Deribit for that, because in America we can't participate in these particular derivative markets. Anyway, we don't expect major volatility driven by options positioning alone, but attention will turn to PCE inflation print, which could become the next key catalyst. Now, there's a lot to unpack in what they're making a bunch of assumptions. The thing is, most of those strikes that were over 100K, most of those options contracts were purchased when Bitcoin was, at, near, or over 100K. So trying to tease out what April looks like based on PCE, based on options contracts that were purchased months ago, it's a little bullcrappy, but whatever. I guess they have to say something, or no one would quote them in an article. Anyway, risk assets staged a relatively significant recovery after Trump signaled twice on Monday that trading partners might secure exemptions or reductions, offering a reprieve that helps soothe market jitters leading into April 2nd, Liberation Day, which I hope doesn't turn into the purge. But, whatever. I guess I have to get some I'd have to ready myself. Who here, show of hands, who here is ready to purge? If we had to purge, who here's ready? JK, bro, JK. I don't want all you preppers chiming in either. All right. Other analysts have pointed at global trade war concerns as the biggest hurdle for investor appetite. Maybe. I mean, I would put more stock in that than at the strike price of a couple of rando ass traders on Deribit. Despite a multitude of positive crypto specific developments, global tariff bull will continue to pressure the markets until at least April 2nd, according to Nikolai Sondergaard. That's a lot of A's. They got a lot of consonants and vowels jammed up against each other in that guy's name. I don't think that's a good idea. Let's rewrite that thing, Sondergaard. Anyway, he works at Nansen. He's a research analyst. Again, never heard of him. I'm looking forward to seeing what happens with the tariffs. No shit. That's not his quote. I added that part. From April 2nd onward, maybe we'll see some of them dropped, but it depends if all countries can agree. No shit. What a brilliant statement. He really went out on a limb as an analyst. He's a research analyst. He said, I'm excited to see what's going to happen. Some of them could go away. Some of them could stay. If countries can agree, if they can't, they don't. Come on. Somebody pays you a fucking paycheck for this? Come on, bro. Everybody here just got hired as an analyst because apparently the bar is very low. Bitcoin's price is down over 14% since President Donald Trump first announced import tariffs on Chinese goods on January 20th, the day of his presidential inauguration. Still, analysts expect the PCE report to further soothe inflation-related concerns, catalyzing Bitcoin's historic rally for the month of April and reminding us all that the Fed is a fucking joke and that they are clearly on the shelf and have no fucking clue what's going on from one moment to the next. They don't even look at 6-month-old data anymore. They look at like information from a year ago, but not quite a year ago, because a year ago, remember, they flip-flopped. Higher for longer. Oh shit, we got to cut. Well, what happened, Jerome? We couldn't. There's no way we could know. What do you mean there's no way we could know? You could look at the bond market for the last 2.5 fucking years, dummy. I was too busy lining my pockets with inside information. Oh, right. Got it. You guys remember that? About a year ago, a couple of Fed governors had to step down. Was it a year and a half? Clarita was one of them. And of course, he got hired by PIMCO. They had to step down. Allegations of trading, basically trading on information that was proprietary. See, Congress can get away with that because they wrote rules that say they can get away with that. I'm not sure the Federal Reserve can. So those guys, rather than probably go to prison, they just step down. No one steps down from the Fed. It's the biggest prideful, hubris, slinging your dick around position there is. When you step down quietly overnight from the Fed, it means you're on the edge of a fucking indictment. And your federal trial lawyer is telling you, you have to be gone, bro. That's the only way you don't go to prison, is be gone. Yeah. Scumbags, dude. Scumbags. Anyway, no surprise there. So, yeah. And then the thought is, well, Bitcoin has averaged 12.9% monthly return during all Aprils. And, I mean, I guess that's during all Aprils is the thing, right? Well, let's look at Aprils here. Let's take a look at the Aprils. What do we got? Let me take that banner off there. Banners. Off. Okay. So we're looking at April's, and we only see that last year was a bad one, and then you had a kind of good one, and then 2 bad ones before that. I don't know if this is a trend that we can follow. I don't think you can take anything from what you're looking at here. Howard, if the sun is blinding you, all you have to do is turn down the brightness on your screen. Buddy, turn that brightness down. Just listen to the honey sweet, my honey laden voice, and let it soothe you into realizing that there's no fucking pattern here for April. When these guys try to tease out this stuff that's old, it's a lot. This stuff is old. It's old. You understand? You understand? Anyway, let me put the comments back up there so I can see what you guys are saying. All right. So anyway, it's averaged 12.9 monthly returns, but the problem is a couple of big months spew that out. I wouldn't be counting on April for anything magical other than we'd be on the other side of tax season and the other side of Liberation Day, whatever that's going to look like. And probably people have assumed the worst, and this would be likely better. I read a slightly side note. I read an interesting article yesterday about how so many people have been slashed at the IRS. So many people have left, just gotten nuked, that it looks like 20,000 people out of their enforcement division. So you have these people coming on saying like, I'm not even going to file taxes. I'm not. Listen, man, listen, word to the wise. Don't think that because the IRS has some less employees that it means you don't have to pay taxes or any of this kind of bullcrap. You got to pay. Pay the man. Pay the man. Pay him what you owe. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Render unto Caesar what is his. Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's. Anyway, okay, good. All right. But the contention is based on this data that's really bad and not super accurate, and I don't agree with, by the way. Bitcoin is more likely, well, here we go. It's more likely to be 110 than 76,000. More likely. Now that's coming from Arthur Hayes, who is a complete bullshit artist. He was one of the scumbags over at BitMEX. He, along with all those other douchebags, got in trouble, got indicted, got arrested, had to go, check in, put on some orange, pay a big fine, leave the country, Like, he was one of those guys. So there's not really much that Arthur Hayes makes predictions all over the place. We talked about this yesterday on the show with Brandon. He predicted 50,000, then 110,000. This dude just says stuff so that people will remember who he is rather than remember that he's a fucking crook. It's funny, that part of it, when you think about it. Like, dude, if you're a big-time crook, like you stole $100 million, why don't you shut the fuck up and just go disappear into obscurity? Are you so prideful? Are you so self-important that you still need to be in the limelight? No one gives a shit about this motherfucker other than he stole a bunch of shit, got caught, and paid a fine. Like, shut up, dude. Anyway, that's a little side note. Bitcoin's rise to the 110K mark appears plausible in the current market environment, according to some other research analyst at Into the Block, who you've never heard of because he's never said anything that's ever happened. The point of all of this is none of these analysts, none of these traders, fucking nobody knows what's coming. Nobody. I think it's likely that Bitcoin performs better because we'd be on the other side of taxes and the other side of Liberation Day, whatever the hell that is, whatever it looks like in a week. But beyond that, don't make any moves based on analysts or these traders or any of these dumbasses that are especially, come on, man, don't get your marching orders on Twitter or fucking TikTok. Those people don't know anything. Nothing. What they know is clicks. Clickbaity bullshit. That's all it is. Anyway, BTC showing signs of recovery driven by growing institutional interest. That part is true. 6 days straight, I think, of ETF inflows, which is good. That's a nice little turnaround. And you want a good, strong ETF market for those of you that, especially with Bitcoin, for those of you that want to sell options against IBIT, you want a big fat market for that. You want a lot of people playing around in that pool. Because that's going to let you get easier in, easier out, tighter spreads in the options contracts you're trying to sell. Remember, I'm not saying buying because none of you are buying. I'm saying selling. Selling. All right. The Federal Reserve's recent decision to ease its monetary tightening. Okay, that's not what that was. I don't know how many people have gotten this wrong. You guys understand the easing of the runoff? All they did is slow the pace of the runoff. And people think that that's some kind of boost in liquidity. That is fucking stupid logic. The Federal Reserve, with funny money bank reserves, remember, basically not even real money, not even monopoly money. They take monopoly money, placeholder IOUs. They force banks to give them quality assets, quality collateral in the form of treasuries, bills, notes, or bonds, but mostly short-term, like on-the-run treasuries, the most safe and liquid asset. They take those from banks. You don't have a choice, by the way. They take those. They give you bank reserves. They pay interest on it, but who fucking cares? You can't use that bank reserve. So now you're a bank, you're stuck with a bunch of bullshit bank reserves. So they then have all these assets on their balance sheet. That's how they buy. The Federal Reserve doesn't purchase with money. They don't go use dollars in the markets. It's all treasury function. It's not real money. It's taxpayer money. It's not the Federal Reserve. And it's not real money anyway because bank reserves. But everything they do with real money isn't even their money. It's financed through the treasury. The whole thing's a racket. Anyway, the Federal Reserve has a bunch of treasury assets that they forced everyone to give them. And they let them mature. And they let them run off their balance sheet without buying new ones. And they call the slow... So they eased their tightening. So they were tightening, meaning not rolling over, and tightening the balance sheet, letting the runoff, letting these assets run off. So they decided to slow the pace of the runoff of the assets that they fucking stole with bullshit bank reserves. Yeah. So that's not easing. And anyone on earth that thinks that it's easing is fucking stupid. I wasn't going to cuss so much today. It's not even the caffeine. I don't even know if this one has caffeine. I think it might be like one of the chocolate ones. It's when I get the Fed. I start dropping the F-bombs when I start talking about the Fed. But Kirill has it right. It's useless Fed coupons that cannot be pledged into repo. They can't do anything. They basically have to take whatever rate they're offered by the scumbaggery at the Fed, which, again, that's just stolen taxpayer money also. And any profit that... It's so ridiculous. Whatever. Anyway. Okay. All right. I'm past it. I'm over it. So while market volatility remains a risk, that could lead to a pullback. The overall momentum and support level suggest that Bitcoin is more likely to hit the higher target first. More likely. Nothing's more likely to do nothing. There's not a more likely or less likely. There is just the future that we do not know. Man, they are making a lot of weird, really sloppy, just very sloppy, wide paintbrush, 200,000 foot in the air kind of views of the economy and distilling it down to Bitcoin somehow getting to 110,000. Bitcoin will get to 110,000 when people think Bitcoin's worth 120,000. That's what will happen. Right now, people think Bitcoin's worth about 88,000. And you know what? Bitcoin's about 88,000. Ain't that something? All right. Well, almost 88. It's 87. Let's see. 87,883. That's not bad. It's not bad. Let me get my... Where's the good view? That's not the good layout. Load the layout for digital investors. Yeah. It'll populate that in a second. Anyway, so that's where we're at. And there's the markets too. Yeah. I don't know why it's so bright. The sun's not even right there. It's just real bright. I wonder if it's smudgy. Let's see. Maybe it's too smudgy. And the smudgy... Let's see. Ooh, this could do it. Or it's more smudgy. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to see. I think it's better. I think it's better, right? I think it'll last forever, Kirill. People like thinking that the Fed is this organization that's keeping everyone safe. They like this idea. that there's someone up at night panicking about the economy with a bunch of tools at their disposal, and they're not going to let the American economy fall into a deep recession. They're not going to let people get fired. They're not going to let people's their wage growth slow down. They're not going to let people be uneasy about their jobs. They're not going to have people paying $12 a dozen for eggs. They're not going to allow any of those. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. Literally every one of those things is not true. Okay. Well, then the Fed is useless. Whoops. Okay. So let's keep going. So I want to talk about Trump's Wilfie's stablecoin first, and then we're going to talk about the scumbaggery, the douchery, the scummiest pieces of shit over at crypto.com. Please, anybody that has an account there, get your shit out of there and just close it up. Don't keep assets on crypto.com. It's been scammy forever. It's still scammy. Nothing's changed. So if I wasn't clear, exit crypto.com because it's a fucking scam. Okay, there. I think I nailed it. But I'll get to the juice of that later. First, let's talk Trump's World Liberty launches USD1 on the BNB chain. USD1! So according to blockchain tracker Look On Chain, Wintermute's public wallet has been spotted conducting initial test transfers. This means that things are starting to move. USD1, just like it sounds, USD1 marks a big step for World Liberty as it expands into the world of decentralized finance. I would stay 147,000 miles away from any product coming out of World Liberty Financial. This is Trump's kids running a financial network, and I just don't know if I'm okay with that as a place to have my money. Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. BNB chain, known for its low transaction fees and fast processing times. They should have launched this on Base. Making it a prime choice for stablecoin issuers. Also not true. This is something having to do with Binance. This is a Binance deal. This is something that CZ and Trump's family probably worked out. Anyway, by launching USD1 on the network, World Liberty aims to provide users with a seamless and cost-effective way to transfer and store digital dollars. Well, I would say to that, we already have stablecoins. This move could also attract more users to the BNB chain. Doubt it. Strengthening its position in the crypto market. Also doubt it. BNB chain's only real value is that they burn a dump truck of it all the time. So let me ask you this. Do you want to be in a project where in order to get price stability, they just burn the token? They created X amount because they thought at the time X amount was needed for the ecosystem. But because the price wasn't going up and investors are a bunch of pussies, they started burning the token that originally they thought they needed. So, but now things have changed because people are like, hey, I don't like the price of this thing. It's not going anywhere because no one's using it. Right. Well, since no one's using it, can you burn it? What? Can you burn it? Can you burn the tokens to make them more scarce and force a price hike? We could, but that seems kind of stupid. No, let's do it. Let's do it. So they burn the token, and that's why the number go up. Because people are idiots. When you see token burns and there's not a really good reason for it, you should be very suspect. You should be suspect when they do the burn, and you should be even more suspect if they claim to have burned something and it wasn't burned. Solana, do you guys remember that? 12.3 million tokens that were supposedly burned, and then the co-founders got caught. They're like, hey, you never burned those tokens. They're like, what are you talking about? They're like, you know everything's on chain, dumbass. You run a fucking blockchain. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, no, we didn't burn those. Okay, but they were supposed to be burned. Oh, we're gonna burn them now. They didn't burn them. They burnt like 3 million. And then, of course, on Twitter, people called them out. Hey, you still didn't burn them. They're like, oh, let's just get past that. Let's just get past the fact that you motherfuckers pocketed almost $2 billion worth of tokens. Let's just get past that. Fuck you. So you see why some people are not big fans of the Solana upper echelon, the execs. What Crypto.com did, which I'll talk about in a minute, is way worse. It's hard to be way worse. It's way worse because what Crypto.com is doing is a total fuck you right in your face. They're not even playing stupid. They're just sticking it right to you, right in your face. Anyway, we'll get to it in a second. Oh, it's so good. Back to USD1, which it does sound like a steak. USD, that's what you were getting at, right, Raymond? Like, it sounds like a steak. USD premium beef. Whatever. Anyway, so by launching USD1 on Binance, World Liberty aims to provide users with this seamless and cost-effective way to transfer and store digital dollars. Again, a thing we don't need because we have stablecoins already. You have the crappy one of USDT. You have the good one of USDC, which, by the way, just got the thumbs up to operate in Japan. So that's good. And I don't see at least right now, I don't see a way that USDT will pass muster with any kind of effective audit. But these auditing firms, I don't know, man. I don't want to be a conspiracy person, but how well did those big four auditing firms do to prevent the housing meltdown? How good did they perform in leading up to 2007 and 2008, and even during the crisis when they were basically paid under the table to lie and not mark down credit profiles? Like, I don't know, man. Anyway, whatever. I guess that was more rating agencies, but these auditing firms, what was it? Where did they really shit the bed? What was the one? What was the firm that went under the big? It was like 65 billion, and they were audited, but it was all bullshit. I don't know. Anyway, there's a lot of the whole auditing, the auditing rating agencies that get paid by the same companies that they audit and grade. I'm uncomfortable with that setup. Like, I guess I'm uncomfortable with that. Anyway, whatever. So yeah. Well, yeah, Enron, they didn't exactly mark that thing correctly, did they? Wintermute, which is a major player in the crypto market making, has reportedly been involved in early testing phase. Their public wallet has been seen moving small amounts of USD1, which would suggest liquidity testing or market preparation. So while details remain scarce, this involvement hints that bigger moves may be on the horizon. Assume a bunch of scammy, fake, crappy, gimmicky bullshit is coming. Especially when you have, a message on Twitter that says, built for institutions and retail alike, backed by dollars, custodied by BitGo, not trusted. And it just says, no games, no gimmicks, just real stability. But we don't need another stable coin. I don't know. Let's see. What's your opinion on Ibaba Jorsai saying AI data center builds are in a bubble due to slow AI compute demand? I don't know about slow AI compute demand. I think his contention is flawed. I don't know that anybody would say that there's not a lot of demand for AI compute. It's a giant war zone. I think he's just, the world's being converted to computronium. Like, everything's being looked at for its compute capacity. So I just think he might be looking at the tea leaves differently than I would look at. I don't know his full statement, so I don't want to dig into just one little take on it, but I would say that part of it is very flawed, like incredibly flawed. Anyway, for crypto investors and traders, USD1 offers another stablecoin option beyond USDT, which we don't trust, and USDC, which we do trust. With the backing of Trump's World Liberty, USD1 could gain traction. Doubt it. How did PUSD do? PayPal USD. Oh yeah, we got to do some token burns. Let's get on Brandon tomorrow. Let's burn. I think we should burn about $500 billion tomorrow. We haven't burned in a while. Yeah, let's burn. So John, remind us tomorrow. Let's burn some tokens. Okay. Anyway, with the backing of World Liberty, USD1 could gain traction among supporters looking for alternatives in digital finance. I don't know that. Is anybody here use USDC and looking for an alternative to it? And you're like, man, I don't like what PayPal did. I don't like Paxos Dollar because that's stupid. But I think that World Liberty Financial, run by Trump's, kind of weird, borderline indigent kids, I think that's the key. Those guys seem like the kind of minds I want managing a bunch of stablecoin. I just don't get that warm, fuzzy feel. I don't know that that's any better than Do Kwon's sorry ass. Anyway, if adoption picks up, it could pave the way for wider integration. I doubt it. I think this thing is pretty much dead on arrival. Unless there's some deal at Binance to push it because CZ is still like slithering for a pardon or whatever. I don't know. Who knows what goes on behind closed doors? BNB Chain recently announced that Cyan, C-I-A-N, is developing the first AI-driven yield layer on its network. This innovation aims to help users automate and optimize their BNB yield strategies, making it easier to maximize returns without constant manual adjustments. Oh, you mean like token burns? I mean, BNB Chain is a scam chain. We want to make it AI so it's easier for you to manage your complex DeFi strategies on your scam chain, CZ, on your scam chain that was a knockoff of Ethereum. Come on, man. God damn. Anyway, these moves align with BNB Chain's focus on enhancing DeFi usability and accessibility, potentially attracting more users. Oh, really? If they attracted more users, what happened to all the tokens they burned? Those motherfuckers are gone. Or are they? That's what we're going to get into when we talk about crypto.scam. Sorry, crypto.com. No, I had it right. Crypto.scam. Okay, first, we'll knock out some questions. And yes, USDC is the only stable coin I feel safe using. Me too. Hashtag me too. Oh, wait, that's different. Do you see Donald Trump Jr. speaking at the DC Blockchain Summit hosted by Cardano? Oh, God. Can you imagine? Wait, Charles is really just the lowest of the lowest. He's just he's an embarrassment even to embarrassments. Ugh, what a douche. Anyway, how's Leap doing with the name change? I don't know. I'm not in their corporate meetings. I know they're doing good with revenue, and I know they're doing good with a bunch of other stuff. We just got an update from them this morning on other companies they're working with, but that's kind of right now that might be proprietary, so I'll wait until they give me the green light. But yeah, we just actually finished up buying some equity in Libera. Ooh, digital private clients got some equity. That's right, equity, which so far has done pretty well with True AGI. I won't tell you what their valuation is, but I will tell you that the digital private clients that got equity are not unhappy about it. We'll say that. Yeah, Libra's doing great. They'll brand, they'll do all their branding stuff. They know they got to make some adjustments, especially for the token. But I think they may go. They're definitely going to change the token. It might be like LID, like Libra data token, LIDT, or something like that. It won't be the spammy, meme coiny, bullshitty thing. Anyway, okay. Let's talk about crypto.scam. These guys, okay, so this is it's not just me calling them out. They're being called out by fucking everyone. So crypto.com has found itself at the center of yet another storm following its decision to reissue 70 billion. Now, I want to listen to what I'm saying. They are going to reissue 70 billion Cronos tokens, Crow tokens. You think, okay, so they're going to reissue them. Well, here's the thing. This move effectively restores the original supply to 100 billion CRO. And you say, wait, the original supply. She's saying, okay, they're going to add 70 billion to, they're going to make 100 billion. Therefore, there's 30 billion. Yes, because they already burnt these tokens in an attempt to jack the token price. The reissuance comes after a significant portion of the tokens, 70 billion, had been burned in 2021, a process that at that time they said was permanent. And by the way, everyone thought it was permanent because token burns are supposed to be permanent. But these motherfuckers, these dudes, it was all a scam. They never burnt the tokens, apparently. Anyway, the decision has led to accusations of betrayal, with critics arguing that Crypto.com has undermined the trust of its community. Crypto sleuth Zach XBT did not mince words, labeling the move as no different from a scam. His criticism highlights broader concerns about transparency and ethical practices in cryptocurrency space. This is from Zach XBT. Crow is no different from a scam. Your team just reissued 70 billion Crow a week ago that was previously burned forever in 2021 in order to pump the price. 70% of the total supply, and went against the community wishes as you control the majority of the available supply. So I don't know, man. It's ridiculously scammy. The reissuance of 70 billion Crow tokens has dramatically altered the tokenomics of Kronos because there was only 30 billion left. A lot of people, the only reason they bought the token was for these token burns. And again, token burns are stupid. They show a weak team, a weak intellectual team with zero math acumen. But once it's done, it's supposed to actually be a burn, not just putting it in one pocket. Similar to what they did over at Solana. But when the Solana dudes got caught, at least they burned some of them and then they just stole the rest of them. Whereas these dudes, they're just like in your face. They're like, yeah, we lied to everyone. Fuck you. You guys all bought the tokens like idiots because you guys are stupid. That's what they're telling you. The whole idea was a token burn is seen as, it's a parlor trick to increase scarcity. A principle that enhances the value of digital assets in the eyes of some, because if you like something and demand is the same and the supply gets reduced, by 70%, you would think that the price would go up. By reversing this action, Crypto.com has not only diluted the token's value, but also eroded any confidence that might have been existent in its user base. Yeah, no shit. Zach XBT pointed out that many investors purchased Crow under the assumption that the supply was capped now at 30 billion tokens, which you would agree, if someone burns 70 billion out of 100 billion, all that should be left, the only thing that should be left would be 30 billion. So if they burnt them, how the fuck did they just push them back into supply? The sudden increase in, by the way, they didn't even say anything. They just did this quietly. They just thought that, I don't know that, you wonder if these dudes thought no one would notice? Like, hey, how come the market cap on the coin just went way up? Because the supply went way up. The available supply went from 30 billion to 100 billion. Does anybody want to weigh in on why we just did a 3.3x on the total token supply, basically diluting the shit out of everyone? So obviously, the increase in supplies led to accusations of misleading practices, with some questioning the motives. I'm not. It's a straight fucking scam. You don't have to question anything. Nothing to question. It's a bunch of creeps at a scumbag exchange that's always been a dirty, creepy scumbag exchange, doing the kind of dirty, creepy scumbag shit that dirty, creepy scumbags do. This should surprise no one. Crypto.com defended its actions by stating that the reissued tokens will be used to establish a strategic reserve. You can't make this up, man. A strategic reserve aimed at funding growth initiatives. It's like, you're like, hey, you lied to us about burning those tokens and you just put it back in the supply. Well, we're making a strategic reserve. Yes, I know that, but you lied to us. You lied to us about burning the tokens in the first place. That was a fucking lie that you sat on for 4.5 years. We're making a strategic, yes, I understand that. Take your helmet off, take out the mouthpiece, get out of the short yellow bus, and explain using your words. Anyway, some of these growth initiatives with their strategic reserve from stolen tokens include the launch of the world's first Crow-backed ETF. Like, well, we can't launch an ETF if we don't take tokens that we lied about selling, that we lied about burning, and put them back into supply. Like, how are we supposed to create a reserve? What about those other 30 billion? No, come on, man. That's not how you make a strategic reserve. You do it with money that doesn't exist. Yes, when someone burns a token, it should be, the idea is that you send tokens to a wallet where the retrieval information, the passphrase, the keywords and passphrase and all that, the private keys are gone. The private keys have been destroyed. The private keys have not been kept. So you can't know for sure. You just have to assume that, okay, that's a burn wallet. There are no private keys. We don't think there are private keys for it. Therefore, those tokens are gone. But when you're taking their word for it, and obviously that would have been a mistake. So they're going to take these tokens that they basically stole. That's basically theft. They stole 70 billion tokens. 70 billion tokens these guys stole. And they're going to make a strategic reserve. Oh, okay, cool. Well, if that's the case, everybody here can just go rob a bank. And when they catch you, be like, no. We're starting a strategic reserve. What kind of reserve? It's going to fund growth initiatives. What kind of growth initiatives? Well, the first Nick Black ETF of Ferraris and McLarens. It's Ferrari and McLaren ETF backed by initiatives from stolen money. Cool. Get out of jail free card, I guess. Anyway, critics argue that the move is less about fostering innovation and more about putting money in their back pocket and getting more control over their network with stolen tokens. The unilateral decision made possible by Crow.com's majority voting power has only added fuel to the fire. So not only have they taken these tokens and put them back into supply, they didn't distribute them to the token holders, which if they were going to do this, that's how they should have done it. They should have said, yep, we lied about the burn, but we're going to give tokens to everyone. However many tokens you have, you get 3.3 times as many. Here's your tokens. That's the only way they could have done this and not had it be complete bullshit. But they didn't do that. This is about putting money in their back pocket because they have the majority of the voting power anyway. So as this complete shisty shit unfolds, the future of the Crow token, which it should be zero anyway, man. Come on. It should be fucking zero, but whatever. The future remains uncertain. No, dude, let me tell you. Man, drinking something from a stranger at a bar, that's uncertain. This is certain. These are a bunch of crooks doing crook shit again and again and again until people listen. I hope these bitches get indicted. See, why doesn't the SEC go after shit like this? This kind of shit really makes me mad. And this is some low-hanging fruit. I mean, whatever the situation is at Ripple, those guys pulling their little scams, they were only selling tokens to a bunch of idiots that wanted the tokens anyway. These fuckers, these dudes took tokens that were supposedly gone and they made them materialize. Like, wait a minute. Oh, and they materialized in our possession, in our back pocket, in our wallet. Oh, dude, you guys are a bunch of scumbags. Anyway, while Crypto.com insists that the reissuance is a strategic move to drive institutional adoption, why don't you drive institutional adoption with the 30 billion fucking tokens that you already have? That's not enough. That's more than most blockchains. That's more than the mint on most tokens. 30 billion. If 30 billion isn't enough for you to get institutional adoption, then your shit sucks. No one wants it. Stupid. And I guess it makes me even more, it's more infuriating when they give you these silly bullshit bumper stickers, like excuses. Like, why did you steal 70 billion tokens back that you lied about that were burnt? Oh, because we want to foster innovation. Fucking shut the fuck up, man. These dudes. Oh man. Anyway, they want to drive institutional adoption. Fair play, just not with the tokens they have, with other tokens that they don't have. Yeah. The backlash from the community suggests a long road ahead to rebuilding. There's no rebuilding trust. Would you trust anything they do? Would you hold this token? Hell no. And I'll bet you money there's a class action lawsuit. A recent partnership with Trump Media had sparked a rally for Crow, which currently trades at 10 cents. So it came up from like 8 cents. What a bunch of scumbags, man. So real quick, does anybody here have a crypto.com account? Anybody here? Anybody here got crypto? Anybody own Crow tokens? I'm going to try my best not to cuss you out if you answer. If you answer honestly. If you're honest with us, we'll if you be honest. This is the kind of crap you expect Do Kwon to do from prison, right? This is the kind of crap you expect like Andrew Tate to do while he's dodging indictments for like sex trafficking and all this kind of shit. Like, this is not what you expect from an exchange that's been such a big push to get into the United States. It doesn't make sense. Like, it doesn't make sense what these guys do. I always thought crypto.com was sketchy, and it was like they would do these little sketchy, borderline corrupt things, like hold people's assets and do stuff like that. And you were like, I was warning people years ago, man, like back in this is probably 28. No. When did I really get exposed to them? 2019, maybe 2019, 2020. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. I mean, it's so scammy, man. So scammy. Maybe I'm just overreacting. Listen, token burns is a hot button for me anyway. I don't like them. I think they're scammy. If you create a blockchain, you have some ideas about what you want and about what you want the network to look like and what you want it to do and how you want it to service people, because that's the goal, is to service people, not just put money in your back pocket. So in that, you would imagine some game theorists, some mathematicians, some mechanism design specialists would come in and you would build an incentive-based system. And part of that is, how many tokens do we need to make this work and to grow and expand the network? How many tokens do we need to get that done? Okay, if 100 billion, and 100 billion should never be the number because that's stupid. But whatever the number is, when you cut it back 70%, tell people, no, listen, we thought about this. We want to do what's best for you guys. We're going to get rid of 70%. 7 out of 10 of these tokens gone. See you later, bye. One, that's a cheap, sloppy ass attempt to push up the price of your shit worthless token, especially these continued burns like they do at BNB. No one, and I say no one, very few people use BNB. It's mostly sketch. It's sketch Binance projects. You guys know that, right? So no one's holding like. Would anybody here hold BNB stable coins? Come on, man. You get your shit off of there. So, yeah, just God. Hey, Hugh, buddy, get your stuff out of there. Just get your stuff out of there. When companies start doing things like token burns, that's a red alert. When they start offering really, really high interest rates and you're not sure how, especially in stable coins, a red alert, like not just a red flag, not a warning, not a beacon, like a red alert. When they start offering returns that are not possible unless they're minting their own token, red alert. So these are all red alert things. But when they take tokens that were burnt and bring them back, it means they lied to you about the burn in the first place and they just stole Because look, they own the majority of the tokens. So when they did that burn, it jacked the price of their tokens. Probably it was a penny and now it's 10 cents. So it jacked the price of the tokens that they personally own. So that was a mechanism for them, not for you, not for the shareholder or the token holder or anyone else. That was a shitty tactic, a scumbag, douchebag, anti-math, dumbass tactic to pump their own bags. And then when it didn't work, they want to bring all these tokens back to foster innovation. Get the fuck off my lawn and take your bike. Take your bike, you wretched kids. So anyway, there was just a lot of other stuff too that they did that was just kind of scummy. And so I was always uncomfortable. I have creep radar. I have the best creep radar. These guys have been on the radar for a long time. And I thought, even a couple months ago, I was like, am I being too hard on crypto.com? Like, I never miss a chance to bag it. Am I being too hard on them? Maybe they've changed their ways. Maybe it's not the same crypto.com that I would get panicked messages, like especially in the Clubhouse days. People were like, they just froze my account for no reason. They'll only let me withdraw like 5% a day. Why? I don't know. Oh, that's the kind of stuff that happens to exchanges when they don't have your money. Like when they're out of money. They've gotten into fractional lending and things like that. Anyway, so stay away from them. What do you say? Okay. We'll take a quick look at these markets. I'll just put them up on the thing. Okay. The Bitcoin is at 87.7. Cool. Everything's down a little bit, but that's not true. Not everything's down a little bit. Some things are up a little bit. Cardano having an up day. Oh. Anyway, there we go. So yeah, this is the state of the state. Nothing much going on. You'll notice I got rid of, we're not watching, we probably shouldn't watch NewNet anymore either. I think I'm done watching this thing. All in favor of getting rid of NewNet and Crapgito and Sophiaverse on our list of things that we watch. We'll let the vote take precedent. All in favor, say yay for getting rid of NewNet on the tracking and getting rid of Sophiaverse on the tracking. Swap it for AVAX. AVAX is kind of scammy too, but it's probably proportionally less scammy. Yay, yay, yay. If I get to 10 yays, Jay, yay, 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 and see you later, bye. See you later. And, okay, I'll go do it behind. Oh, wait, it got all weird. Anyway, I'll go do it. I'm going to get rid of those. Matter of fact, I'll do it right now here on the list. No more. Let's see. Sophia, you're gone. Bye, Felicia. Boom. NewNet, you're gone. Bye. Bye. That's it. Oh, I'm getting an update here in about 2 minutes. The Twin team is calling me. So this is good. I'll have an update for you tomorrow. Anyway, stay in school. Don't do drugs. Don't do anything on porn. Stop a drunk, swing on meth. Grandmother or Brandon wouldn't do. No idea where he is, what the temperature's like, or any of that kind of stuff. But it's going to be hot as hell here today. Ooh, 7 to 8 degrees. And that really means it's going to be in the 80s. Ooh, I'm not even going to have to turn on the heater in the pool.